CTV News with Angela Mackenzie.
Good evening. We're learning more about last night's shooting at the Hilton Hotel in Washington, where the White House Correspondents' Dinner was held. U.S. President Donald Trump and key members of his administration were in attendance and had to be rushed out of the room by Secret Service agents. A suspect is now in custody. Judy Trin reports.
Chaos after shots rang out at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. President Donald Trump and the First Lady were rushed from the stage within seconds. Journalists and other politicians took cover under tables after a lone gunman stormed through the security checkpoint of the Washington Hilton Hotel.
I hear gunshots, boom, boom, really loud. And the next thing I know is a police officer saying, "Get down, get down, get down." He's saying that to me.
The suspect, armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives, exchanged gunfire with the Secret Service. One agent was shot in the chest, but saved by his bulletproof vest. The gunman was subdued outside the ballroom where the president and his team were in attendance.
The man has been captured. They're going to his apartment. I guess he lives in California. And he's a sick person, a very sick person.
The suspect, Cole Thomas Allen, is a 31-year-old teacher at a college prep school. He has degrees in mechanical engineering and computer science and is a video games developer. After his arrest in D.C., law enforcement raided Allen's home in Los Angeles County, where he lives with his parents. White House officials say they found a manifesto.
It does appear the suspect was targeting members of the administration. I don't want to go beyond that because we don't have specifics yet about particular members of the administration, except that we do understand that that was his goal and his target.
The suspect sent messages to relatives suggesting a violent plan. Investigators say after the attack, his family called police.
The parents I'm friends with. I'm friends with his dad. They're very solid, peaceful, good people in the community.
In the manifesto he allegedly sent to his family, Cole Thomas Allen referred to himself as the friendly federal assassin and said that he doesn't expect forgiveness. He will be officially arraigned on Monday. Prior to this attack at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, there have been 2 previous attempts on Donald Trump's life. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
We go now to Nouveau Info reporter Jean-François Poudrier, who is in Washington in front of the hotel where the shooting happened. Jean-François, tell us what's happening there now.
Well, it's pretty quiet right now. Obviously, it was not the case last night when the shooter came here around 8:30, just at the beginning of the correspondent dinner. I talked with a few reporters that were actually here when that event occurred, and obviously everybody was quite scared by what was happening here. Didn't know exactly what was going on as well, because they didn't know if it was actually real shots or if it was something else. So we can listen to one of the reporter I talked to. She's the foreign reporter for BFM TV, Laurence Aime.
I was scared, and I'm not afraid to say that I was scared because as a reporter I covered a lot of mass shootings in the United States, and it's always scary to think that behind a door can open and you can have someone with a rifle coming to the room and shoot at you. And we didn't know what happened. We heard the 5 shots. We were quite close to the noise of the 5 shots. Nobody told us anything, so we went under the table, and for 1 or 2 minutes we were thinking what's going to happen if the door opens and if 1 or 2 person or 3 person come and shoot like they do in schools in America.
That is so unsettling. And Jean-François, the Premier of Quebec is heading to Washington for meetings ahead of the CUSMA negotiations.
Yeah, and everything is going according to the plan, so no changes because of that event of last night. So Christine Fréchette also wrote on social media, "I condemn the attack that occurred during the press dinner and the presence of President Donald Trump. This type of event must remain a space for dialogue, not violence. The media are essential to our democracies." A special thought for the Quebec and Canadian correspondent who were present yesterday. And tomorrow's meeting, she's going to start with the Canadian ambassador here in Washington. She's going to have meetings as well with representatives from the Congress, from both Republicans and Democrats, as well as people from the industry, because we're talking about eventually the renegotiation of the free trade agreement with Canada and Mexico. And obviously, Christine Fréchette wants to present herself as the new Premier of Quebec.
All right, thank you so much for the update, Jean-Francois. Good to speak with you as always.
Ciao.
Well, it's less than an hour to puck drop in Game 4 between the Montreal Canadiens and the Tampa Bay Lightning. And Kelly Gregg joins us live outside the Bell Centre. Kelly, can fans expect another overtime tonight?
Well, Angela, if the past is any prologue, it could be a long night here at the Bell Centre. It's actually only the 8th time in NHL history that the first 3 games of a playoff series went into overtime, so it shows you just how evenly these two teams are matched up. Here outside the Bell Centre, fans started arriving early for what could be a long night here. It's, of course, a beautiful spring evening in Montreal, and the playoffs are on, so everyone's in a good mood. I will say the crowd is a little tamer than it was on Friday night, but still plenty of excitement in the air. I met one fan who arrived 4 hours before the game to get a Habs tattoo, and a few others who were hoping for a break from all the overtime stress and for a regulation finish tonight.
I've tried to get it for a couple of years when they've been doing it, and I managed to get it today. We were here early, 3 o'clock.
It's not going to overtime. We're taking this one after 3 periods. I hope. My heart can't take this anymore.
I hope not for my nerves, but it might. We got 3 games that went to OT, so maybe it will. You never know. So hopefully not for my nerves.
Yeah, it's not exactly been the most relaxing playoff hockey. Now, keep in mind, Tampa and Montreal both finished with the same amount of points in the Atlantic Division, and they split their regular season each with 2 wins. So perhaps not such a surprise that this playoff series is so tight. On Friday night, Lane Hudson netted the overtime winner to give the Habs a 2-1 lead in the series. And if you had trouble falling asleep after that one, well, you're not alone. Martin St. Louis was asked how he comes down after big games. Here's what he had to say.
I watched Seinfeld. I mean, I've watched Seinfeld, what is there, 9 seasons? I've probably watched it 4 times in a row. I just said, to me, Seinfeld is the show that can let me disconnect from everything. It's a show about nothing. So you can just think about nothing, and you don't even have to actually watch it. You can just listen to it.
By the way, his favorite character is George. So puck drop in less than an hour here at the Bell Centre. We'll have full highlights for you at 11:30. Game 4 between the Habs and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Angela?
All right, thanks, Kelly. Looks fun out there. Kelly Gregg live outside the Bell Centre. Well, Montreal is seeing a rise in the number of aggressive dogs. Incident reports are up, and German Shepherds and Pit Bulls lead the pack. Sweeta Rassi has more.
There was a woman next to me with a little tiny white dog and had a little bow on its hair. And as we were passing the dog, she literally had a hard time holding on to her little dog. She let it drop on the floor, and it chased after me, and it bit me in my glute.
For this Montreal woman, experiences like hers are becoming more common. Aggressive dog incident reports are up 41% compared to 5 years ago. The 3 boroughs with the most cases, Mercier, Hochelaga, Maisonneuve, Rosemont, La Petite Patrie, and Côte-de-Neige, Notre-Dame-de-Grâce. At this dog park in NDG, most owners say they feel safe, but there are some concerns.
We don't see many dogs that are not on the leash. I think that's the only thing that I would be worried about, because there's lots of kids in the neighborhood.
The city points to the surge of dog ownership during the pandemic as a factor. It also says some new owners don't have the skills to socialize their dogs. One Montrealer agrees.
I don't think a breed of dog specifically is this dog is more aggressive than this dog. I really just think it's about where it comes from and who's raising it for sure.
According to the city's registry, there are 110 potentially dangerous dogs on the island. Last October, a 45-year-old woman was attacked by 3 dogs in St. Leonard. She was hospitalized with serious injuries. Those dogs were not on the registry. Sophie Gaillard is from the Montreal SPCA.
So dogs that generally react actually out of fear or fear of something unknown or something unfamiliar, and that can definitely be trained.
She says good socialization starts at a young age.
anyone who's engaging in breeding is appropriately socializing those puppies and exposing them to all the experiences they need in order to become, good canine citizens.
The city says it will be once again offering free training workshops in dog parks for those who need it. Sweeta Rassi, CTV News.
A 52-year-old man was killed in a hit-and-run overnight in Côte-des-Neiges. Police are now looking for the driver. According to witness accounts, the car was traveling eastbound on Goyer near Darlington Avenue just before 1 a.m. when a pedestrian was struck. The victim's identity has not yet been released. Iveline Fleming, a founding member of the Jamaica Association of Montreal, has died. The community advocate was also the association's first female president from 1988 to 1989. She went on to form the Jamaican Canadian Community Women's League of Montreal Incorporated. It was a springboard for women. Fleming was 101. And Montreal's minimum wage is going up this week, rising from $16.10 to $16.60 an hour. The change begins Friday. At the announcement in January, Labour Minister Jean Boulet stated that more than 255,000 people would benefit from the increase. At the same time, the tip-based wage will rise from $12.90 to $13.30 an hour. And a Montreal teacher can now add author to her resume. She's hoping to inspire youngsters beyond her classroom. Lauren Fernandez reports.
And then sometimes with sad things, it teaches you something.
Tough subjects are part of the everyday lessons in Christina Mamagat's third grade class at Carlisle Elementary.
I really like teaching them life skills and how it's going to shape them who they're going to be tomorrow.
Molding minds for the past 15 years, now she's an author. She penned 2 children's books in less than a year.
And I really wanted to create a book that is going to teach children, teach adults, because I think even adults need a reminder of how to behave and how to talk to each other.
Christina's writing is inspired by real issues she sees at school. And one of the big problems is how social media is changing the way children interact.
These children are becoming a little bit more desensitized, right? And when they're being desensitized, empathy is kind of getting lost.
She's trying to inspire kids to get off the computer and forge real bonds with friends. And students are taking note.
It's nice to be kind because think if you're rude to everyone, how will they treat you? It's not going to be very nice. I learned that you have to be kind to others to make friends and play together and say kind words.
Christina also illustrated both books, combining her 2 passions, education and art.
I just did it for fun. And I said, okay, I'll just try to self-publish and figure it out. And the first book was a big learning curve. It wasn't easy, especially to do it by myself. But the second one, I figured out how to make the book more rich in terms of color, the content.
She's already working on her next book and hopes to continue to spark a dialogue.
I feel like if I can put some good, some kindness out there, I'm doing something. So I really just want them to get a message of remembering to be honest, but be kind, to be respectful, to be open-minded.
Life lessons that go beyond the classroom. Lauren Fernandez, CTV News.
Well, after a rainy start to spring, Montrealers are getting a stretch that feels like summer. Temperatures this week could hit 22 degrees. Anastasia Dextrine reports.
For the first weekend in months, the warmth isn't just making an appearance, it's sticking around. And Montrealers are enjoying every minute of it.
We've been waiting for it pretty much the entire winter. Last week we had a bit of a tease.
According to Environment Canada, daytime highs for the region in April typically sit at 15 degrees. But Sunday's forecasted high of 18 could lead to more above seasonal weather this week. On Monday and Tuesday, it could mean temperatures of 21 and 22.
We just finished our exam season and it's been rainy, locked in the library. And now that the sun's finally out, I feel like the city's back alive.
April normally sees about 70 millimeters of rain, but this April showers brought an additional 20 millimeters of rain to the greater Montreal area. And climatologist David Phillips says this weather is welcome news.
The number of precipitation days with precipitation, that's certainly well above normal. You think you've had 16 or 17 of those, and where normally you would have had 10 of those in the month of April. And the sun has come out and it's helped to dry out the conditions. The snow cover has pretty well disappeared in the upper watersheds.
It's a sign that terrace season is near.
We're really excited to take the Bixies out and sit on the patio.
Go-to terrace order?
White velvet. It's like half cider, half white beer.
But while some are counting down to summer, the sun and clouds have others less convinced.
I'm still thinking that there might be some snow, somewhere around the corner, so I'm still not taking my shorts out.
May's not going to start off as so great, but it's going to be, a little bit below normal. We might get some precipitation, but I think we get to maybe the second week, third week, certainly in May, and we will say, hey, summer is here.
And until then, just a taste of summer is enough to start. Anastasia Dextrine, CTV News.
In stark contrast, it still feels like winter in parts of Alberta and Saskatchewan. This is what it looked like in Saskatoon. An estimated 22 centimeters of snow fell, and more snow is in the forecast, along with a wind chill of -14 overnight. A severe storm also pounded northern Alberta, stranding hundreds of drivers on a major highway north of Edmonton. Well, turning to our weather now, another beautiful day in the books. It is currently sunny and 18 degrees out there. For tomorrow, we do kick off the week with lots of sunshine again and a high of 21 degrees expected. And that warm weather is set to continue Tuesday, but we could see lower temperatures and rainfall later in the week. When we return, Jewish leaders are sounding the alarm.
There is a national crisis of anti-Semitism.
A new report is expected to show anti-Jewish hate is hitting record levels. And the push to have Canadians labeled war veterans if they served in the Gulf and Afghanistan wars. A new report set to be released tomorrow by Jewish human rights organization B'nai B'rith is set to show anti-Semitism in Canada has reached record levels as hate crimes across the board in Canada continue to climb. Jeremy Charron reports.
Fueled by geopolitical tensions, in the aftermath of the October 7th Hamas attacks on Israel, anti-Semitism in Canada has reached unprecedented levels, says one of the country's most prominent Jewish human rights organizations.
There is a national crisis of anti-Semitism, which is actually getting worse in Canada, not better. The numbers are truly staggering. They speak for themselves, and they cannot be ignored.
Speaking with CTV News ahead of a Monday morning press conference on Parliament Hill, B'nai B'rith says its annual audit of anti-Semitism in Canada shows a record number of incidents in the country.
This is a moment in time where the Jewish community is facing a threat that it has never faced before, at least not since we began recording our audit of anti-Semitic incidents in 1982.
The most recent data from Stats Canada shows hate crimes across the board have increased steadily for the last 6 consecutive years. Jewish and Muslim communities are the most targeted religious groups.
The data that we're seeing is actually quite concerning. At the National Council of Canadian Muslims, we have a legal clinic, and we've seen more than a 10-fold rise in cases coming in.
The federal government introduced new anti-hate legislation last year aimed at making it easier to lay hate-related charges.
Hate is not limited to the doorsteps of our religious institutions, but is prevalent throughout the entirety of our communities. We see it in our streets, we see it in our parks, we see it in our grocery stores. Frankly, we see it almost everywhere.
The bill has yet to become law, but did pass its final vote in the House of Commons and has moved to the Senate for review. Meanwhile, B'nai B'rith says Jewish communities in Canada continue to be unfairly targeted.
And are unduly the victims of hate as a result of individuals' notions or sentiments regarding Israel and the Israeli state.
The organization will make the findings of its annual report public Monday. Data, it says, is deeply disturbing and needs to be addressed. Jeremy Charron, CTV News, Ottawa.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is scheduled to meet with his newly named Canada-U.S. Advisory Committee for the first time tomorrow.
It sets a tone of, as I mentioned, solidarity and unity
And I think it also offers the Prime Minister an opportunity to hear from people in different sectors, not that he doesn't already, but to hear candid impressions from people about how various sectors are being affected. And I think it also allows him an opportunity to take a sounding, both in terms of the people who come there with business experience, labor experience, and political experience, and say, what do we think the consequences of not securing a new deal?
Along with some familiar faces from the previous council, former Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole, former Nunavut Premier P.J. Adjikok, as well as Canada's former High Commissioner to the UK are joining the team. In addition to presenting a united front to the Americans, the group aims to set the tone ahead of CUSMA renegotiations. Pierre Poilievre is calling on the Liberal government to extend the suspension of the federal tax on fuel for the rest of the year. The Conservative leader says it would take pressure off Canadians already squeezed by the soaring cost of living.
We have the worst food price inflation in the G7 after a year of Mark Carney. We have the worst household debt in the G7 after a year of Mark Carney, and we have the worst housing costs in the G7 after a year of Mark Carney.
The Liberal tax suspension started last Monday, cutting 10 cents a litre off of gas and about 4 cents a litre off of diesel. It will run until Labor Day. Well, roughly 50,000 Canadians fought in the Gulf and Afghanistan wars, but those men and women are not officially considered Canadian war veterans. A new Senate bill sets to change that and give these members of the military the recognition they say is long overdue. Annie Bergeron-Oliver has that story.
It's my National War Memorial, and I want to see all the dates, past, present, and future.
When Mike McGlennon walks by the National War Memorial, he can't help but feel let down.
I would like to see my dates of 1990-91 added to this monument one day.
His service in the Gulf War isn't commemorated, a stinging reminder that by law he isn't officially a war veteran.
It would be a recognition of that level of sacrifice and a thank you that we're not getting at the moment.
Under federal law, only those who fought in the First, Second, and Korean Wars are defined as war veterans, meaning Canadians who served in conflicts in the 72 years since are excluded. Afghanistan veteran retired Colonel Mark Gasparotto is one of them.
Soldiers don't join necessarily for that recognition, but if they are going to go and put their lives on the line, then the nation should call it what it is. And from that should flow proper recognition.
During the 2025 election, Mark Carney promised to review these designations, but so far his government hasn't followed through. The Conservatives have also called for this change.
I have the honor to introduce a bill.
Now, Senator Hassan Yousaf is taking it into his own hands, tabling a private member's bill that seeks to recognize modern military missions and streamline the symbolic wartime service designation.
I'm hoping, given the history, given what's been said by the two parties, they're actually going to step up now and do what is required of them. Show their commitment to say, hey, we can finally complete this task.
McGlennon considers himself a war veteran and hopes soon the government will too.
It speaks to the risks. It speaks to the legacy, the military history of the country, what our children learn in the school system, in their textbooks. I want my grandchildren to know.
Veterans say they don't know why this change hasn't happened yet. The bill as is offers no additional benefit other than the recognition of service and sacrifice veterans have been advocating for. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Up next, protecting children from being lured by online predators. And we'll have more analysis ahead of tonight's Habs game.
Tonight, how an armed man got into Washington's Hilton Hotel.
We believe that he was targeting administration officials in this attack.
And what investigators say about his mindset and motive. Later on CTV National News and watch on Crave.
Returning now to our top story, the suspected shooter in last night's White House Correspondents' Dinner is expected to appear in court on Monday. The 31-year-old allegedly sent a message to family just before the incident. Mola Lengi reports.
It was just after 8:30 p.m. at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Law enforcement storming the stage. The night's performer, the mentalist, Oz Perlman, seen talking to President Trump and the First Lady when agents in tactical gear swarmed.
I didn't expect them to take him down so violently, because if this is kind of a fire drill or we're not sure, they never would have tackled him that hard.
Law enforcement officials say the alleged attacker charged past the security checkpoint, seen in this video posted by the president on social media. Secret Service racing to take him down, quickly apprehending him, seen in this photo released by the president. That man now identified as 31-year-old Cole Allen of Torrance, California. ABC News learning authorities believe he booked a room at the Washington Hilton earlier this month.
And we're still looking at video surveillance and footage of where he walked and how he got in and how those firearms got in.
Law enforcement sources say the suspect left behind handwritten notes found in the hotel room they say he booked, as well as in his California home. The president speaking to Fox News this morning.
And the guy is a sick guy. When you read his manifesto, he hates Christians. That's one thing for sure. He hates Christians, a hatred. So he was a very troubled guy.
Well, sources tell ABC News the suspect allegedly made statements to authorities that he was focusing on Trump administration officials in this attack, and indicated that authorities would be able to get more insight into his thinking if they examine the writings that he left behind. He is scheduled to be arraigned on Monday. Mola Legge, ABC News, Washington.
We head back to the Bell Centre, where Kelly Gregg spoke earlier with TSN's Kenzie Lalonde about what the Canadiens need to do tonight to secure a fourth win.
Welcome back to the Bell Centre. I'm Kelly Gregg. This is TSN's Kenzie Lalonde. Kenzie, I guess we should have expected it. The Habs, the Lightning were next to each other in the Atlantic divisions in the standings. We've had not one, not two, 3 overtimes so far. Is this what you expected out of this series?
I expected it to be close, but for every game to go for overtime, I'm really surprised by that. Now, if you were to say the Canadiens were up 2-1 in this series, but Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki hadn't registered a goal, I'd be really surprised by that. But here we are, and the difference for the Canadiens in this series in comparison to last year against Washington is they've got the depth scoring. You go back to Game 3, Martin St. Louis made lineup adjustments, you put Kirby Dach back as a natural center, which is his natural role, alongside Zachary Bolduc and Alex Texier. I didn't have that line circled as to being a productive line going into that game, but sure enough, each one of those players factored in on a goal that night, and it goes to show right now for the Canadiens on any given night, an athlete can step up, and that's what's allowed them to take a lead in the series.
All right, a bit of exciting news for Habs fans. On the injury front, Noah Dobson, we're expecting an update on him. Arbor Xhekaj has been filling that hole, and he's done pretty well. I mean, he started the overtime in Game 3 so far. Where does that leave him?
I mean, the note that Arbor Xhekaj started overtime in Game 3 at home at the Bell Centre really surprised me. So that goes to show the growth that Martin St. Louis has seen in his game, and he's looked really well over the course of this playoff series alongside Jaden Struble. But to your point on an update on Noah Dobson, so you have to think that'll come down around maybe Monday night, Tuesday morning, and if he enters the lineup, well, you ask yourself who comes out, and you look at that final pairing of Arbor Xhekaj and Jaden Struble, and with the way Arbor Xhekaj has played, I have a feeling he has solidified himself as a role in this series and into next series if that opportunity comes. So right now, if you're Arbor Xhekaj and fans of his game and what he brings to the table, the growth he has shown this season is a reason why he's been effective in the playoffs.
All right, well, we got horns going off. It's going to be loud in here tonight, getting ready for Game 4. We'll send it back to you.
Many Quebec households are feeling the pinch these days. A recent survey by M&P Limited found 9 in 10 Quebecers are thinking twice before taking on new debt. Joining us now is Jean-François Cliche, a debt advisor with M&P. Thanks for being here.
Our pleasure.
So what are some of the ways this increased financial pressure is affecting people's lives right now?
Well, it seems that the survey is showing that Canadians and Quebecers are highly unoptimistic about the financial future, and everything seems to be worrisome. 70% of the people that have answered that survey have stated that a slight increase in cost of essential goods would have a significant strain on their financial situation. So we're living in a world where the situation with our neighbor in the south, what's going on overseas, have an impact right now on, for example, the price of gasoline, and gasoline will have at one point an impact on the price of goods and services. So right now, Canadians are really fearful. 45% of the people that have been surveyed are stating that they are at $200 away from not being able to meet their expenses at the end of the month. So right now, the Canadians are struggling financially, substantially.
What did you learn about this in this survey about how Quebecers have their ability to pay their income tax bill specifically?
This time, the survey has been done in tax season, and one of the things that struck me is 17% of people that answered that survey were stating that they will not be able to pay their taxes this year. 10% of them said that they would have to borrow money to pay them, and 9% stating that they have no clue what they will do. They need to find a solution here. So obviously, Canadians do not have, in a big portion of them, do not have the, I would say, buffer zone in their budget to face expenses that are not on a daily basis. Like taxes happen once a year, we have a tendency to forget it, but each year we need to face them. And obviously, Canadians need to pay them. It is something that, as a citizen, is important for everything that we like. But this year, more than other years, Canadians are fearful of that expenses.
So what should people maybe take into consideration when they're looking to reduce their debts right now?
Well, there's different things. The first one is if you're struggling with your personal finance, the first thing you should do is talk to a professional. If you're having issue with your plumbing at home, you're calling a plumber. Same thing here. LITs, licensed insolvency trustee, should be the first door to knock on. We are the professionals that are trained and regulated to help you out. But a couple of things can be done easily. The things that people ask me most of the time is, what should I do? And the first thing I'm saying is, you should do your personal budget. It is the roadmap to your future financials. So if you don't know where you're spending your money, how can you prevent bumps in the road? The second thing is, if you're struggling and you're stating that I'm not sure how I'm going to make it, and I should make changes, the first thing is probably do little changes that be helpful. Looking at expenses that you do on a regular basis that are not essential. Talking for myself, I like my local coffee shop, and if I'm not mindful about how much time I go there each week, those things add up pretty efficiently. There's no real way usually to cut major expenses, but if we take the time with your budget to look into all your expenses, you can make better choices, and little changes add up.
All right, Jean-François Cliche, thank you so much for your time.
That's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Time now for In Case You Missed It. It seems we are in peak pothole season. Motorists are claiming for damaged vehicles, and pedestrians are finding out that they're also just as vulnerable. Stéphane Giroux reports.
Carole Gagnon had a typically exciting Saturday night downtown. A concert at Place des Arts, followed by a second show later that night at Club Soda. It's when she walked home that things went wrong.
Yeah, I was walking down this way because I just came out from the Club Soda with my record on one arm and my T-shirt, and just here, I felt like that, and the record, fly away on the street. Young couple helped me, and I was very, ça faisait mal.
Gagnon's foot tripped on a pothole on the corner of Vigée and Saint-Laurent, despite her attention for bad roads.
But this one, because of the light and the rain, I didn't see it. And I was not drunk.
Gagnon suffered a fracture and will be off work for a few weeks. She filed a complaint with the City of Montreal. Her story received a lot of media coverage. To Gagnon's astonishment, the hole and many others around are still there 5 days later.
Of course. This morning when I came here, I said, maybe the hole is already, because it was in the newspaper like 2 days ago, everybody talks of that. It's still there.
We contacted City Hall to find out why it wasn't fixed and to obtain an update on its pothole repair operation. No one was available to speak to us. Montrealers we met seem resigned to this springtime reality.
Sometimes I keep attention, but it doesn't disturb me much until now.
Faut juste regarder où on met les pieds. It depends on the size.
These visitors from Vermont told us they don't find the situation funny at all.
We tried to go out a couple of days ago with my wheelchair, and it was so hard to maneuver and through all the potholes and everything that I was just in so much pain that we just gave it a miss.
But for Gagnon and many Montrealers, frustration has now given way to apathy when faced with terrible roads. Stéphane Giroux, CTV News.
Coming up, the stunning Canadian photo that's taking home gold.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
Increasing number of abandoned buildings.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVMontreal.ca, your home for news.
Social media sites are often easy places for predators to hide, so it comes as no surprise that more cases of luring are being reported to authorities. Camille Caramali has the story of some parents pushing for change.
So you go onto the site.
This website is where 12-year-old Nathaniel Charles and his friends go to chat online, but it's not always with each other.
Your friends, who do they talk to on this website?
Just random people.
An age verification prompt easy to bypass.
All you have to do is scroll down and click a random age.
And it's on this site that one of his friends became a target.
One time my friend was on it, and then he was like talking to people. It was going good, and then someone was like masturbating on the camera.
As a parent, there is absolutely no way you can keep up. They're so ahead of us.
Last week, Statistics Canada released data showing the number of online child luring cases reported to police in 2025. Nearly 3,500 instances, a 20% increase from 2024's numbers.
When it comes to these types of offenses, it is grossly underreported. I think those numbers are significantly higher.
Across the board, child luring and exploitation cases are on the rise in Canada, with kids having easier access to social media and online chats now available through gaming and in more apps than ever before.
Spotify, which is a platform that we all think about and use for music, but they introduced private messaging functions.
The pushback against social media giants has been mounting, with thousands of lawsuits.
They can kind of work around regulation. So they actually, in our belief, have to bear the financial consequences of their outrageous misconduct by compensating the victims.
Even then, countries around the world have still tried to implement and enforce those regulations. Australia and France now with legal age limits for social media use.
A couple of years ago, Canada introduced a bill called the Online Harms Act that aimed to make social media companies legally responsible for protecting its users, but that died in early 2025 when Parliament was prorogued.
Like at 7-Eleven?
This mother now organizing a rally in Ottawa on Monday to push for new legislation.
Let's hold these big tech companies accountable.
Before someone she knows and loves becomes a target. Camille Caramali, CTV News, Toronto.
The Habs aren't the only ones playing hockey today. Players were on the ice to raise money for the Cedars Cancer Centre at the MUHC. The tournament was organized by a fitness center in honor of one of its former members. He died of pancreatic cancer just before his 50th birthday. It's the tournament's first year, but they want the tournament, which is called the Stick It to Dave's Dave's Cup, to continue for many years to come.
We had a close member of ours. I knew him for 3 years. One of our good friends, became a loved guy from our community. He passed away from pancreatic cancer. And I just felt like I have to do this on a yearly basis for him, just keep his legacy going. He was an athletic guy, in shape. So you never know what happens. You might look good on the outside, right? But these things happen. So we have to, every morning you wake up, appreciate life, you know what I mean? So I want to do something very good because his whole family likes hockey, everybody. So I'm like, what better way to do it than a hockey tournament?
All funds collected will go towards medical oncology research. Well, imagine fleeing your homeland with nothing but a skill and a dream. That's a story of a seamstress who fled Syria and is now being recognized here for her work in her community. Carol Charles has her story.
I'm gonna be the queen. I said I'm gonna be the queen.
Chanel Williams is getting ready for prom.
This is so pretty.
And there's only one person she trusts with her dress, Sonia Gazarian, owner of Sonia's Alteration Shop in Pickering.
We're going to do one fitting for this. Okay. We can't do it.
It's a trust Sonia has built with clients from all over the GTA and beyond.
Because I have customers from Niagara Falls, from London, Orangeville, I have Bancroft, Peterborough, I have Wasaga Beach.
That loyal client base didn't happen overnight. Sonia immigrated to Canada from Syria in 2005, leaving behind political unrest and limited opportunities.
We were numbers, we were not people there. We were numbers. I don't think so I was going to be anything there except a housewife.
She arrived with no family, no money, and no English. But she did have a seamstress license. By 2007, she landed a job with Tip Top Tailors, where she worked for 12 years. In 2018, she and her husband took over a dry cleaning business in Pickering. Then in 2024, she moved to a nearby location and shifted her focus to offering alterations only.
Tight as you want.
Today, she serves more than 3,000 clients.
This is for church. Yes. Very modest. Modest, yes.
One of them is Ramona Pimentel, who's getting married in just a few weeks and has 3 bridal dresses that need tailoring.
She does a great job of doing exactly what you want and making something you want to look good, look great.
It's that kind of work that's earned Sonia major recognition. She's been named a 2026 Canadian Choice Award winner in the tailor category for the 2nd time.
I feel honored. I feel so proud of myself. I can't believe it. Hard work pays off, I think.
If anyone else got it, I'd be mad because she deserves this award.
But for Sonia, the real reward is simpler.
When I see the smile of my customers, the smile of the bride, when they start to cry and hug me, oh, finally, this is my dream dress. This is the most enjoyment.
Sonia will be receiving her award on June 5th at the Liberty Grand. Carol Charles, CTV News.
Ottawa wildlife photographer Michelle Valberg is celebrating after winning gold at the World Photographic Cup in Iceland. This shot showing a mother polar bear and her cubs standing on a volcanic rock won gold in the wildlife category. The World Photographic Cup is an annual Olympic-style event where teams of photographers represent their country. Valberg's work also earned the Best in Nation award as Canada's highest-scoring image of the competition. And the Montreal Roses FC kicked off their 2nd season last night. They were in Calgary playing against the Wild FC, with Montreal beating Calgary 2-0. Both goals were scored by Elise Bennett. Still to come, a woman with an infectious spirit.
Isn't that fun? It's just like being a little kid, you know?
On a mission to share kindness and empathy with people in her community.
For breaking news and local news that matters to you, download the CTV News app right now by scanning the QR code on your screen using your smartphone. Or you can also go to our website, ctvnewsmontreal.ca.
Finally for us tonight, a BC woman discovered the positive potential of teddy bears and tree blossoms. And then a simple act of kindness blossomed into something much bigger. Here's Adam Sawatsky.
And I like this one.
After she lost the love of her life,
This is really a sweet one.
Anna Fenty found life hard to love.
You know, down and out.
While she kept busy inside with her crocheting and point painting, it took a while before Anna considered all the possibilities outside.
I wanted to enjoy what years I have left and not sitting on the, can I use the word, pity pot.
And then, during one of her daily walks,
Look at all the blossoms on there.
Anna felt inspired to do what she hadn't done in decades.
Isn't that fun? It's just like being a little kid, you know?
Which brings us to that bear she's been holding. One of a few Anna found at a thrift store.
And I fell in love with them, and I thought, well, if I can fall in love with them, so can the children, you know?
So Anna bought a bunch of bears, brought a couple to her favorite coffee shop, and offered them to a bus driver she recently befriended to give them to any kids who could use a cuddle.
I thought it was a beautiful idea. I was honored.
So J.D. placed them on the dashboard of his bus before giving the first bear to this girl with her dad.
They were full of gratitude, and they took it with a warm heart.
And then asked a group of teenagers if anyone had a mom in need of a bear.
And this one boy raised up his hand. He said, mine does. And all the other kids pointed at him.
because they said his mom was recovering in hospital.
Fantastic.
Leaving JD inspired.
Always treat people with empathy and kindness and respect.
And Anna so elated, she bought even more bears to give away.
If you do something for somebody else, which makes you feel good, your loneliness goes kind of out the back door. I love it.
And now, unlike the trees that only shower flowers on her in the spring, Anna has discovered how joy can bloom all year round.
Just live a plain life and be the best you can be to other people.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Comox.
Let's take a final look at the forecast. It was a great day to be outside today. It's still sunny and 18 degrees right now. Tomorrow, the week starts off with sunny skies again, a high of 21 degrees expected, and more warm weather is in the forecast for Tuesday, but we are expecting wet weather and a drop in temperature later in the week. Well, that's it for us. We'll be back at 11:30. Have a good night, everyone. Take care.